History. Cidra's Bereziartua is a family-run firm devoted to cider production since 1870. That was when we made the first Bereziartua ciders at our old installations in Ergobia. A century later, in 1970, our cider house finally committed itself to the production of sagardua, or cider, at its installations in Astigarraga, where we are located today. Since then, and following various modernization processes, Bereziartua has become a beacon in the production of natural cider, while at the same time preserving its family character at the service of tradition and out of respect and gratitude towards our loyal customers. Cider. Cider is an alcoholic drink with a low alcohol content made from fermented apple juice. Its distinct freshness is a feature that makes it particularly appreciated in summer and autumn, although the palate can enjoy it throughout the year. Historically, cider has always been rightly regarded as a natural, healthy drink. Apples. The only raw material used in producing our natural cider is the apple. To obtain a good cider, the fruit needs to have reached the right degree of ripeness so that it can achieve optimum performance in the press. The apples are harvested in early October, after which the production commences right away, although this also depends on the apple variety and climatic conditions. There are many varieties of apple for making cider. They nearly all fall into three types: acid, bitter, and sweet, depending on how rich they are in organic acids and tannins. At Bereziartua, we use Galician varieties of apple, French apples and local ones. However, thanks to recent encouragement given to local products and in particular to the support from the Eusko label, quality certification of certain local Basque products, local apple production is being gradually revived. Washing. The apples are transported to our cider house in lorries. On arrival, they are unloaded in bulk and taken to the canal connected to a water tank, where they are dragged along so that they can be washed, selected and crushed. In this first phase, the stones or soil stuck to them are removed by the water. After that, the leaves, twigs and rotten apples are removed. Finally, we carry out a manual selection process mainly to remove any apples that are too ripe, as they could adversely affect the production of cider that is natural, safe and that has the right properties. Crushing. After the selection process, they go into the crusher where they are crushed. Care is taken not to crack the apple pips or scratch the skin, and thus facilitate the subsequent pressing and preserve the original flavor. The crushing must be done very carefully, and it must under no circumstances be excessive, otherwise the result will be a cloudy juice that will be difficult to clarify afterwards. Pressing. As with the crushing processes, the pulp makes its way into the pneumatic press, which in turn will extract the must. When the crushed pulp is ready for the automatic press, it has to be left to macerate for an hour. The must obtained from the press is cloudy, sweet and thick, and this is the mainstay of a quality cider. When the must has been extracted in the pressing process, it is taken by a system of pumps and hoses to the tank to facilitate decanting and starts the fermentation process. The tanks can be of different materials. At Bereziartua we have about 60 cupelas, barrels with the capacity of over 1,000 litres, made of wood, polyester and stainless steel. Next to these cupelas, we also have 2 refrigerated warehouses to control the fermentation process in line with our requirements. After the pressing, a residue of crushed apple pulp, pomace, is produced, and this is mainly used in animal feed and in the production of cosmetics. This way we ensure the sustainability of the waste in harmony with the environment and nature. Tjotj season. The tjotj is a custom that is carried out following the first contact with the cider inside the cupella. That usually happens on the Friday before the 20th of January, St. Sebastian's Day. The tjotj season at Bereziartua goes on until the end of May. This custom began with cider tasting sessions involving the cider maker and the wholesalers, restaurants, private individuals, gastronomic clubs, etc. Prospective buyers used to turn up at the cider house to sample the various cupellas to choose the cider that they felt was in best condition to be purchased. Today, it has become a popular gastronomic event in the Basque society. In the traditional cider house menu, we include two of the most important products in Basque cuisine: salt cod and the T-bone steak. The menu consists of a salt cod omelette followed by a dish of salt cod with green peppers. After that, the high point in the cider house is the T-bone steak. The pleasure of sharing delicious beef with friends or family. For dessert, we offer cheese accompanied by quince jelly and locally grown walnuts. The custom of eating standing around long tables has changed at Bereziartua, so that our customers can choose to eat either seated or standing, and thus keep up the tradition of the old cider houses. At a cider house, the cider cupellas are usually arranged around the dining room, and it is the owner of the cider house who goes around opening the cupellas throughout the evening to the shout of mohon in the olden times, or today the more widespread tjotj. After that, anyone who wants to drink a glass of cider heads for the open cupellas, taking his or her turn in the queue. The first person to reach the cupella, or the owner, in the absence of anyone else, is responsible for turning on the tap and turning it off when everyone has finished filling his or her glass. Cider should be served cool, but never cold, between 10 and 12 degrees centigrade. It should be served from a certain height, but not too high, into a long, wide tumbler made of thin glass. This way the chimpata, sparkle, or the bubbles of carbon dioxide are released before going on to burst and quickly disappear. The tumbler should be filled with an amount corresponding to the width of 2 fingers, and the cider has to be drunk immediately. Only the amount that is to be drunk in one gulp is poured into the tumbler. The cider has to be drunk slowly, but in one gulp, because if it is allowed to stand for too long before being consumed, it will start to lose its qualities. Bottling. Once the optimum moment for consumption has been determined, we can get down to the bottling process. The cider is bottled in the typical green glass bottles. For this, it is necessary to bear in mind aspects like the cleanness of the bottle and ensuring that the cider does not come into contact with the air. Once bottled, our cider is ready to be put onto the market. It will be clearly identified by the Bereziartua label and will also bear the Eusko label sticker if it has been produced using apples grown in the Basque country. Today, bottling is a process that is done throughout the year thanks to our cooling equipment. The stopper on the bottle must be made of cork. The cork needs to be the least porous possible to prevent air from entering. The cork stopper is a vital element for preserving the cider inside the bottle. On the market there are many types of corks ranging from agglomerate ones to natural ones. How far the cork stopper is pushed into the bottle considerably determines the conditions for preserving the cider. The stopper should not be pushed right inside the bottle, nor should it be allowed to stick out. Bottle. Unlike other drinks in which the liquid is poured straight into the glass, Bereziartua cider is served by allowing a thin stream of the liquid to fall from the bottle from a certain height, so that when the cider hits the tumbler, it breaks and is aerated. The position of the person pouring the cider should be standing straight but not stiffly. The arm holding the tumbler has to be stretched downwards at a slight angle, so that the cider will break onto one side of the glass, never onto the bottom of it. Tasting. The tasting and analysis of cider requires the sharpening of the 5 senses, in particular sight, smell and taste. Visually, it is necessary to observe the color, more than anything, whether any carbon dioxide is given off, its clarity, brightness, fluidity, etc. The surface foam that is generated when poured from a height should disappear quickly and completely. What is of interest to the sense of smell is the intensity, the quality and nature of the aromas. In the mouth, attention should be paid to the 4 basic tastes: bitter, salt, sour and sweet, and the interrelation between them. A sensation of slight sweetness that balances the whole is valued positively. That means it is a dry product without any residual sugars. From that moment onwards, all that remains for us to do is to enjoy the cider. Cider, when it is well prepared and properly stored, is a drink that is refreshing, invigorating, nourishing and healthy, and among the most tempting when it comes to satisfying the most demanding of palates.